Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast. 2026 draft is back on my agenda here, and one of the less glamorous aspects of it, probably the less glamorous, is the offensive lineman. Greatly overlooked, but hugely important. So I'll split them up as I did in my initial This is October update of where this class stands. And I'll split them up as I did pre-season into who I see currently as centres, guards, and offensive tackles. Although obviously they can move between positions. Um, but so let's start with the centres. Still no round one guys, but two guys who have had a good start to the season and are pushing to get into round one. Connor Liu and Jake Slaughter, who still sit at 1 and 2 in my rankings. They've both had strong starts to the 2025 season and are clearly the top two candidates at centre right now. And one or both could still push for round one picks. Um, you know, Lou's a junior at Auburn and Slaughter's a senior at Florida. They've both been really solid and dependable in the opening rounds. Now, so no round ones, but they're both pushing towards the top end of round two. Still at number three, but dropping down probably into round three now, certainly into round three, is Parker Brailsford, a junior at Alabama. Now, Brailsford has slipped into round three after an indifferent start to the season, but he did bounce back with a really good game against Vanderbilt last week. But he still lost some ground since the start of the season. And one more I've added into the list here is Iapani Lalulu. Hopefully, I'm getting close to that name. He's a junior at Oregon. He's made a good start to the 2025 season and may be able to get himself a day two selection if his current form continues. He's an excellent pass blocker with work to do as a run blocker. Great technique and makes the most of what he has physically. Has played centre on both guard positions, which helps his course draft wise with that versatility, but their comparative weakness against the run could limit him to early day three pick wise. But he's the one that's probably on the rise out of the pack at the moment. So that's the centres. Let's have a look at guard. Now, this is far from a great class at guard. In fact, it's just a poor class. And the fact that somebody I didn't even have in my original list is now my top candidate, but still would only be a round three guy, tells you everything you need to know. And this is another name I've got to have a good go at. Excuse me. Right, nearly dropped my coffee. Right, 1 second. Let's have a go at that name then. Olai Varvega Ioni, a junior at Penn State, 6'4" and 330 pounds. So he's a man mountain. And so far this season, nobody has managed to move this particular mountain. He's been superb for the Nittany Lions. He can play either guard position and he's very good pass blocker and decent as a run blocker too. So in what looks like a very weak class, he's now my top candidate, having not made it into my original list. So he's clearly on the rise draft stock wise now. Moving from number 4 to number 2 from pre-season to now is a senior at Alabama, Jaden Roberts, who's a right guard. Um, he has missed time due to concussion recently, but he's still moved up, which demonstrates the weakness in this class right now, as two others have fallen out of round three and probably into the middle rounds. That includes my top two candidates pre-season. Number 2 was Caden Green, the left guard junior at Missouri. So he's on the fall, and so is my previous number 1, Armals Reed Adams, a right guard, a senior at Texas A&M. Both of those are on the slide, as is the previous number 3, Charles Jagusa, junior at Notre Dame. So all of those are on the slide, and it's just, apart from Ione, there's just nobody playing well. So it was a poor class pre-season. It looks even worse now. It looks, if you're an NFL team in need at guard, start looking at the potential free agents, pending free agents, trade moves, because looking for one in the draft is not going to be a great option. That said, when we come to tackle, moving up from 2 to 1 is Francis Marigoa, um, senior at Miami. Now he's playing guard for Miami right now, so he could be an outstanding candidate. Um, so he's playing guard for the Hurricanes, but I still have him as an offensive tackle as at the next level. He's been superb for Miami in the early part of the 2025, though earning rave reviews. He's taken over the number one spot of offensive tackle from Spencer Fano. Caden Proctor's still at 3. Now, all 3 of the above still look like top 10 picks right now, but Marigoa has been spectacularly good this season. Caleb Lumu is still at 4 and still on course for a mid-round 1 pick at tackle. Isaiah Weld is still at 5, but rather than being a secure round 1, low-end round 1, now for me, he's borderline round 1, round 2, slight dip in his stock. Round 2, jumping up from 11 to number 6 on my list is Jennings Dunker, or Gennings Dunker, depending on how you want to pronounce it, senior at Iowa. He's jumped out of round 3 and up 5 spots to 6 in my offensive tackle rankings after some fine early season displays. So as a result, Austin Barber has slipped from 6 to 7 due to the rise of Dunker. But he's made a solid start to 2025 that keeps him on track for a round 2 pick. Trevor Gooseby continues his steady rise up my list as he rises from 9 to 8, and he's in another round 2 guy as I have it at the moment. In round 3, a new name, Drew Shelton, a senior at Penn State, comes into my list at 9 and is playing left tackle, but can play right tackle too. Only allowed 2 sacks of Drew Allar last season and has protected his blind side really well so far this season. He's a real athlete, but on the small side at 6'5" and 305 pounds. And he's a real student of the game, showing intangibles such as leadership that will stand him in good stead when meeting scouts. So I have him as borderline round 2, round 3 right now. At 10 on my list, and staying at 10 is Xavier Chaplin, the junior at Auburn. So he's firmly in round 3 territory right now. And then on the slide into day 3, Caleb Tiernan, the junior at Northwestern, Blake Miller, the senior at Clemson. They're both on the slide, but not too bad. But Alma Wagner, the junior at Notre Dame, so yeah, he's on a major side. Tiernan and Wagner dropped to 12 and 23. Tiernan and Wagner have dropped to 12 and 23 on my list, and out of day 3, Caden Green, who I've moved from guard to tackle list-wise, slots in above them at 11, but would also be a day 3 pick right now. Wagner got hurt last week and is falling like a stone right now in terms of his draft stock. This still looks like an exceptional class at tackle as compared to guard, and at the top end certainly there's 3 really strong candidates and decent depth there too through the first 3 rounds. So centre class top end looks pretty good. Guard looks terrible class, to be honest. Probably worst class in the drafts for next year, and the tackle class looks pretty good. So that's O-lineman done and dusted. So I'll start turning my attention for October updates to the defensive side of the draft next. So see you soon.